to Dropping Diamonds with me, AJ Andrews, where we dive headfirst into the world of softball and now baseball. Today, we are joined by the first woman to coach a men's professional baseball team. She's the co founder of Baseball for All and now also the co founder of the new Women's Baseball League, WPBL. It is the one, it is the only, it is the barrier breaking woman, Justine Siegal. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, how fun.
Well, I'm so excited to talk about not just your journey, but how your journey has now been able to carve out so many new journeys for hundreds, thousands of women out there within the world of baseball. But to start my show, I like to start with a quote and for us to build an affirmation. And so a quote that I thought was very fitting for our conversation and for you was one by Martin Luther King that says, the trailblazers in human, academic, scientific, and religious freedom have always been nonconformist. And when I think of someone that was refusing to conform to whether it's societal norms, the norms of what women can or told can and cannot do within sport, I definitely think of you, Justine. Is there a let's see, is there a affirmation we can kind of get from that quote?
I love Dr. King. That was such a great quote. I'm so humbled.
Heck yeah.
I'm just big into don't let the naysayers win. Just keep going. If you believe, you have to go.
If you believe it, you have to go. I like that. I was thinking it's like along the lines of like well-behaved women rarely make history. Someone has to be the first. Why not me? I won't bend, I won't break, I can't conform. That's how history is made. If you have the thought, just go. Are there any quotes, Justine, or I mean, to me, that sounds like something that you really live by. If there was something that's in your brain, you think you can do it, just go for it. Is there something that you maybe a saying or a quote that you've really lived by?
Not so much a saying or quote, just examples. To me, girls having an opportunity to play baseball is a social justice issue. So I'm very inspired by social justice movements and leaders who have gone through it, but they keep going because they know it's the right thing to do, even when it's not about them, it's about others. And so I'm very inspired by that action of giving to others ahead of yourself.
Do you remember when you first were inspired, or the first maybe social justice leader that sparked that desire in you to continue to push and have that passion to make those changes as well, those differences?
Well, for me, I studied nonviolent leadership. So, I looked at Gandhi and Thich Nhat Hanh and Dr. King, of course, and just how a community can rise up and build something better, right? It's not one person. We have to work together and make something better for the future that's behind us, right? Like all the young people that deserve the best. That's our responsibility.
I think it's so cool because when I think about people that I'm awestruck by, it was always civil rights leaders. I was never, and I've met many celebrities, many athletes, but I'm always like, hey, what's up? I think it's just something about the courage, like anyone that distributes a level of courage, to your point, to go on despite what may lie ahead, whether it is imminent danger and or death. They're doing it for the reason, the cause, and the thing that matters so much to them. To me, that was always what really empowered me and what really stood out to me. Something that if I were to see or meet a civil rights leader, I feel like that's the only individual I'd be like, oh my God, that's whomever,
I
you
know,
know?
I know. I absolutely, Desmond Tutu. It just goes on and on of just phenomenal people, but it's those who are unnamed who have marched, who have been the ones who have experienced such discrimination in so many ways that that power comes when people come together, when they know that something can be done, and against all odds, they make it happen. And so that's the kind of thing that inspires me, and I know that sport can make that kind of social change. And so that's sort of what I've dedicated my life to using baseball to just help girls know uh, that they're awesome and to believe in themselves.
And that just that one note, sometimes we always, in baseball and softball, the saying, it just takes one. They were always like, it just takes that one play, that one hit to completely change the game. I think that that is also very relevant in the factor of humans, of people. Sometimes it just takes that one person to inspire us, that one person to uplift us, that one person to say it is possible, or that one person to show us that it is possible. And it's so cool that you embody not just the person that is saying it, but you're also doing it. And then you're also now showing that it can be done in multiple different ways. But it all started, that love for baseball that you've continued to grow and blossom, all started with your grandfather and going to Cleveland, now Guardians, but at the time, Cleveland Indian games. What do you remember vividly about those experiences and what made you fall in love with the game?
I just remember being with my grandfather and my brother, eating everything on site, right? Every inning, getting something else to eat, going back home with my bobblehead. I mean, it wasn't just the baseball as a kid, it was the whole thing, it was the whole show, and I loved it. And then the more I played baseball, of course, the more I wanted to be a Cleveland Guardian. And so I really dreamt about being a major league player. And it took me until my teenage years to realize that wasn't going to happen, but that love kept going.
When did you start playing baseball?
I started with T-ball, so 7,
Yeah.
6, and I just kept playing, and, I played with my brother mostly, so, it was only 1 year that we played against each other, 'cause he didn't wanna be on a team with his sister anymore, so I kept playing and he ended up quitting, but, it was just it was a whole lot of fun. 12 and under was a whole lot of fun.
12 and under, and then what happened at 13?
Yeah, I got a new coach and he told me that I should quit because girls play softball. And I just like it didn't make sense to me. And it has nothing to do with softball. It was just the matter that he was deciding what I can do because I'm a girl. And so I decided I would never quit and I would just keep playing baseball. And it was definitely an uphill battle because many of the opportunities, as you know, are in softball. And I just couldn't let them kick me out because I'm a girl. Like, not because I wasn't good enough, just because I'm a girl. I couldn't do it. And so the more they tried to take the game away from me, the more I fell in love.
The more they tried to take the game away from me, the more I fell in love. Can you expound upon that? Because you would think for most people, someone trying to diminish your dream, someone telling you what you cannot do would at times discourage someone or put this veil over what the game once meant to you into something else. How did it make you fall in love with it more?
I had to work harder. I had to show and prove every single time I went on the field. I had to ask for permission to come on the field. And there's just something like you just hold on because if you don't hold on, you're going to fall off. And it's that holding that I just ended up wanting it more and more and more, because the more time I spent playing it, the more I enjoyed the game. And it would have been nice to just been treated as a player and not just as a girl who wants to play baseball. That would have been totally different. But I have to say that that challenge that I had, that discrimination I faced, definitely shaped how I decided to build baseball for all so that other girls have a better pathway to play whichever game they loved playing.
Going back to you being someone that is not going to conform and you're going to build your own path, however it looks. When it comes down to not conforming, and would someone ever say to you, well, why not just go play softball? What would be your response to that?
I was asked that question over and over. In fact, my high school tried to force it, really, by telling me I couldn't play baseball, but then I ended up playing baseball against them, and then they let me play. Um,
Wait, how so?
I ended up going to, my first high school didn't let me play, and then I went to a boarding school, and I went to, like, a camp in Florida during spring break, and I ended up playing against my old high school. It was crazy. So when I returned home and, asked if I could play on the team, they're like, "Yeah, you can."
Would you what you
So it
probably went
was
with like 4 for 4 with a home run? You're like, okay, fine.
that I pitched
Uh,
against them. And so I pitched well, and then I had just worked so hard to get better and better. Um, I think it would have been easier to play softball in the sense that I would have been around girls. I would have been celebrated for my abilities. I would have had more friends. So it was definitely like tempting. It's just something that I couldn't let go of the fact that that's what they wanted me to do, that they wanted me to quit baseball, the game I loved, the game my grandfather loved, um, just because I was a girl. And I know that kind of sounds crazy, but it's just the one thing I held on to. And I'm glad I did, because it really gave me the fuel to help build a better future for the girls today who still love playing baseball, and want a chance to go after it.
Not doing something because someone the holding on to the thought of I'm not going to play softball because that's what you want to do. If I give in, then you guys win. And you staying steadfast in what was your goal in the game that you love to play, I'm sure it gave so many other women the confidence to do the same. Did you ever have doubt when you were doing that? Was there ever any moments when you thought, okay, well, maybe I should just go play softball? And when you did, if you did have those doubts, what was it that said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do this because this is maybe bigger than myself?
I had doubts a couple times. It's hard to have people against you. You're just a kid. You're
Right.
just trying to fit in. I quit baseball for a day, but once I kind of cooled down a little bit, I was back on the field the next day.
What made you
And I
quit?
did. Oh, I had a coach who said something mean to me, and I was just like, I can't win. I can't
Mm,
win, and I just walked away. But I was back the next day. Um, and I did play softball for like a week in college. Um, I went to play baseball at a D3 school, and unfortunately, they didn't let me play, or they said they ran out of uniforms. Um, so I decided I would try softball, and it was nice to be around the other women, but it just wasn't my game. First of all, I was a pitcher, and that's just not transferable at all. So I went to spring training, and then I came back and just decided to pursue other options. And I played in men's leagues in the summer and so on.
did the guys on the team support you?
Some and
Some.
some not. It just is what it is, when you're a pioneer. And I didn't mean to be a pioneer. I didn't mean to be the first in everything I did. It just happened because it hadn't been done before, right? If you pursue your passions, you go whether the pathway's there or whether you're the one creating it. So I just wanted to play baseball, and I did it to the best of my ability, and now there's more girls and women who can do it through the Women's Professional Baseball League and through Baseball for All. And frankly, in youth leagues all around the country, it's much better. Girls are being told they have a chance to choose. And some girls play both softball and baseball. And, they're just having a good time.
But the fact is, you don't have to conform. You can do both, one or the other, softball, baseball, whatever really draws you. And at age 16, throughout your path and your love for baseball, you decided that you wanted to coach. And you wanted to coach at the collegiate level. When you formed that dream, what was like the first spark? And said, okay, this is a school that's got it for me. This is where I want to go. What did that look like when that dream came about?
It's when I realized I wasn't going to play in the major leagues. I know that's a long time to live that dream, but I decided I wanted to coach. I'd coach at the college level, which no woman had done before, but I just thought that's what I'll do. Like that didn't occur to me. And I was a really, really shy kid. So the first person I decided to tell my dream to was one of the coaches at the camp I was at that I worshipped. He was like my coach. I loved him. Hung on every word. But when I told him I wanted to coach, he laughed at me. And he said no man would listen to a woman on a baseball field. And I was really embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. And then I just started thinking, who's he to decide what I'm going to do? And I just, as a teenager, started learning everything I could about coaching, right? So if I'm a pitcher and third baseman, now I'm going to learn how to play outfield like you. Nothing like you, but at least I could learn something about the outfield so I could teach someone else how to play outfield. And so I just started my pathway on how could I become a coach and pursued it. And while I was getting my PhD, I became a college baseball coach as an assistant at Springfield College. And I can tell you that while they were surprised to have a woman coach, they didn't really care as long as once I showed them I could make them better players, once I showed them that I cared about them and that I could help the team win, that was all they needed to know.
Period. I think it's so interesting too when we talk about the individuals that have comments to say about women in men's games, whether it be baseball, basketball, football. It's only the ones that are not in the mix that have things to say. It's like everyone that's a part of it, this inner circle, once they understand, oh, you know ball, then the respect is always mutual at that point. But that's with anybody, right? I mean, you don't want to listen to whether it's another man, another woman, what sport you are. Once someone shows you that they know the game, it's like, okay, I'm all ears. And when you were telling them and showing them and teaching them the ropes and helping getting them better, what was your philosophy, your coaching philosophy?
Oh, coaching the men, my coaching philosophy was very like Socratic. Like, how can I get them to come up with the idea of the answer where I want to get them to? If they need to get their stride further, how can I get them to realize they need to have their stride further, stride longer in their pitching release? It's easier for men to change, I think, if it's their idea. So if I can get what I want across as their idea, then they make the change quicker. You know, you can't always do that, but you can often be like, oh yeah, that was like, like that was a really great pitch. Like I could see, or if you're hitting, right? All that head position, I loved it, right? You just tell them what they did in a positive way, and then they start creeping towards where you want them to go. And that was kind of my philosophy working with men. Make it their idea and they're in. So it worked pretty well.
Gosh, it's basically like everyday life when you coach men, same thing. You just have to make them to get them to the finish line, you have to make them think that they're the ones that, set up the race. Like, "Okay, yes,
Yeah, I mean,
this was your race."
obviously, as the trust builds and as you're just in it. Obviously, you can change that and just give them direction.
Right.
But it is one way to get men to where they're going.
Yeah.
A lot of men
Make
lead
them
them
run a
there,
race they
but
don't realize is a race, and they get to the finish like, "Thank you. Yes, you did it. You did this. I set up the lines for it. I carved out the finish line thing, but you made this happen. Thank you."
I love those guys that I coach.
Yeah.
They were great. They were great.
You being a coach at the collegiate level, I mean, it's so cool how your journey has so many this like these tickers. Like you can document each moment to where you just continue to elevate and change history at one level to the next level to the next level to the next. MLB lifted its ban of women participating in major league teams or their affiliates in 1992. And in 2009, you became the first woman to coach a men's professional baseball team, and it's the Brockton Rocks. What were those first days like as you step in making history?
Yeah, so that was indie ball, 2009, and I was coaching collegiately. So and I was working on a PhD in sports psych. So in my mind, I was qualified. Yes, I was the first woman, but I was qualified to be there. It's amazing to get to wear a uniform as your job, to have your baseball card, to have a child ask, will you sign it? Just, I mean, it doesn't really get better than those things. But it was very difficult, and some people didn't want me to be there. Some people were fine, and others didn't want me to be there. And I had to really control my own emotions and know that, like Jackie Robinson, being inspired by his actions, I can't control how other people treat me. I can only control how I'm going to act. So I decided to be kind. I decided when almost the worse it got, the more I would do in kindness. And so I knew that if I reacted with emotion, if I fought back in a way, that the girls behind me would have more difficulty getting a chance for their turn, right? If I was able to, if they were able to say, "See, women, they can't handle it. They're too emotional. It's too rough here. It's too much swearing. They can't handle it." Like it's just a little
Mm.
teasing or whatever. All of that's just an excuse for someone else not to get a chance. So I really, as much as I love baseball, as much as I love coaching and helping athletes, I also knew I had a responsibility for those who also dreamt of coaching professional baseball. And so after I ended up with the Brockton Rocks, I flew on MLB BP, and then in 2015, I did the Oakland A's for their instructional league, and that was tremendous and a dream come true, really.
It's so interesting when you are the first, you have to think about not just what your impact is, but how your impact is going to then influence the impact of those that come behind you, and the way in which you had to navigate everything, and you couldn't react the way maybe you wanted to react, or you had to suppress maybe some of the things that you wanted to say with the thought in mind of, I want to make this better. There wasn't any moment when you just popped off? Any of these people saying crazy stuff?
No, I have never really lost my cool to those people. Um, you know, um, it just wasn't possible.
Right.
I also had my daughter with me. I had my daughter in college, so with everything I've done, she's right there, and there that's such a gift to be able to go from an environment that's hostile and then just to walk away and just have absolute love, and then to have that break, um, and the motivation of knowing what can come for others in the future. Um, if it was just about me, I would have quit. Right.
Really?
If it was just about me, yeah, I mean, I got a PhD. Could have just gone on, got a corporate job, or I could have been a college professor, which would have been really easy and lovable. And like, who doesn't want to be a college professor? Um, but I knew it was bigger. I knew it was bigger. So as much as I love baseball and I mean, I can't stress that enough. Like I did the path because I wanted to do the path because I love helping athletes be better. But at the same time, I just knew the responsibility around me, and I took it very seriously.
Mm. Did you ever feel a lot of pressure, or was it pressure that you welcomed? Like, you enjoyed it?
I didn't feel the pressure, I just felt the responsibility. I mean, to me, it's different. For me, pressure is, bases loaded with two bases loaded, and you gotta throw strikes, or you gotta get someone out, or you gotta get a ground ball. With this, it was just a matter of being responsible and knowing that when something is bigger than yourself, it's much easier path to walk through. If it's just about me, if it's just about ourselves, then I feel like our tolerance is less than when we know we can do better for others.
What was maybe the meanest thing someone said to you that you really had to overcome and look past? Or if there's something that maybe sticks with you today that someone said that you're like, that you are a reason why I'm keeping going, because I don't want you, I want it to be embarrassing for you ever utter those words to another woman.
I mean, there's been so many examples of
Mm,
feeling unwelcomed.
yeah.
But there's also great examples of where, when it's been great and someone, when I was finally kicked out of the locker room with the Brockton Rocks, and when the manager stopped talking to me, I'd been removed from first base. They were just expecting me to really quit, which never crossed my mind. I staged my own protests and I sat outside of the locker room right as the game ended, and the whole team had to walk past me and know that I was there. And a few minutes later, one of the players came out and sat and had his dinner next to me.
Oh,
And
wow.
that gesture, like, I have no idea what we talked about. All I know is he left the safety of his locker room to just come be with me and say, "Yeah, I see you." And then he went back in, and another player did the same thing. And I think when you lead with authenticity,
Mhm.
and when those players knew that I cared and that I had done all I could, I earned their respect. Just sometimes the world's not ready for you. And what's fantastic now is that Major League Baseball is a pipeline for diversity, for women to actually get a chance to coach at the pro level. And there's over a dozen women coaching at the pro level now. And that's, in some way, that's what it's about. It's bittersweet that it wasn't me to get the full-time coaching job, like that I didn't get to live that life, but it's also very meaningful to know that others get to, that it worked to some degree.
Oh, it absolutely did work. I mean, the A's hired you in 2015, making you the first time an MLB team employed a female coach. And then since then, there have been over 40 women who have coached MLB or MLB affiliate teams. And the impact that you made, being the first person to start the trade, and then so many women get to jump on and keep going down that path. What does that mean to you to know that you have been a trailblazer and now, while the hardships that you faced as the first are now something that you did make it a lot easier for the 40 plus women in baseball today?
It's humbling and it's healing as well. I mean, for me, honestly, I only coached 4 days with the 4 days, 10 days with the A's. I know that sounds crazy, but I asked Billy Bean for 4 years. For 4 years, I asked him. It was like, hey, um, I'm an associate scout for Major League Baseball. Can I coach? The next year, hey, I have a PhD. Can I come coach? Hey, like just every year becoming better and better and better beyond what was expected of other male coaches. Um, and finally, for the fourth year to get the yes, um, it took a whole lifetime to get those 10 days. And in those 10 days, and in that news, Major League Baseball realized, hey, we can get other women. And then the next one was Veronica Alvarez, and then Alyssa Knockin with the Giants. And then it just kept growing. So just to kind of open the window a bit for people to see what's possible. Um, it's it's meaningful, and I'm just so glad these kids that I see now today that are 15 and they know that it's possible that they have a path. I mean, what else is life about if you're not building for others?
You don't only just build for women in the States to coach. I mean, you've also coached internationally, including Israel national team, Japan, Mexico. We met up in Dubai. So you have been all over the world, literally making your impact and stamping your mark on the world of baseball. What would you say is probably your proudest moment throughout your journey so far?
Oh, my proudest thing is that my daughter calls me for no reason. Has nothing to do with baseball. My proudest thing is that I have somehow succeeded as a mother, and my daughter likes me at 27 years old. Baseball wise, if you went to tryouts for the Women's Professional Baseball League, and we had, 600 people sign up for these tryouts, and I've got adult women coming up to me. She goes, "Do you remember me? You coached me when I was 12."
Oh.
That's pretty cool. Um, because I know that when they were 12, it was all just starting. And we were just getting girls baseball, throughout the US. So I think that that's very rewarding for me to see. And then with the WPBL, knowing that with a professional league, girls can now look up and say, hey, that's a possibility. They can see those role models, just like with the AUSL, right? I mean, that's fantastic. These girls will know that they can play softball at the professional level, they can be you. I mean, you're amazing. And
Thanks.
that's, well, it's just the truth. And, now girls are seeing that they have choices and that they have a future. And I love that.
Oh, so many choices. I think that that's one of the best things that can come from the growth of women's sports. Oftentimes, there weren't a professional league for so many women, or you had to go play overseas, or you kind of had to accept the fact that your life in the sport you played your entire life will come to an end potentially after college because there just isn't a pro league for you anywhere. And now there's so many girls they're able to continue on. And I speak about this, but I when I did my master's thesis, I went to a field and I asked 12 young boys what they wanted to be when they grew up, and they all said baseball players, baseball coaches. And then I asked 12 young girls the same thing, and they all said teacher, doctor. Only one little girl said, I want to play professional softball, but I'm not sure if it's possible. And I bet today, if I were to go and do that was back in 2016, 2017. If I were to go back to that same ballpark and ask 12 young girls and 12 young boys the same question, it would be completely different answers. We'd have some girls that say, I want to be a professional baseball player. I want to be a professional softball player. I'm sure the boys will still have all the same responses, but the girls, I'm hoping that they would all have, it would be a lot more that think they can go on and play professionally. And with you building your foundation, Baseball for All, that was your ultimate goal to let these young girls know that they can go on and they do have a space to play the game that they love. What really, what was the biggest maybe impact that you've seen Baseball for All have on the young girls that have gone through your tournaments?
I think there's two streams to that. One is that Major League Baseball now supports girls and women playing baseball. There's now they run girls baseball programming, which is something they did after our national tournament. So just again, just showing that light, Monet Davis being on the stage and then, seeing girls baseball through Baseball for All was very meaningful in that they're now programming across the country for girls to play. The second is I love, love that our girls who are players come back as coaches.
Oh, nice.
And so I love the full circle that these girls, we tell them that they're never too young to lead. They're never too young to make a difference. And so we have 15-year-olds coaching 11-year-olds, and we have, graduates from our program coming back after playing for, Team USA and just coaching and giving clinics because they want to give back. And I love that community. I love seeing that.
Baseball for All has truly become, of course, it's your foundation, but it feels like it is a national movement at this point. It feels like it is something that is continuing to like touch everybody that's affiliated, associated within baseball, and to know that this is you can play. You don't have to choose. To your point, you don't have to choose to go play softball. You don't have to play baseball your whole life, and then college comes, and now you don't know what to do. You can go on to play baseball in college. Now you can go on and play baseball professionally as well with the WPBL. Oh, you starting and co-founding the WPBL. Run me through the inception of the idea and knowing that this is what I want to do, and this is going to be another game changing league for women's sports.
Yeah, and for sure, I need to mention all of the women athletes before this league who have, you know, walked backwards uphill to get women's pro sports going. And we are certainly riding on the wave of women's soccer, women's basketball, and everything built before us. But it was my co-founder Keith Stein called me up and said, "Would you do this?" He did research and who should I contact? And thankfully, my name came up first in Google. So when he asked me, I said yes. And I'm really thrilled with what we're accomplishing. We partnered with Fremantle Media, So, I know that everything is going to be top notch as well. You're going to get to see our broadcasting. You get to come out to a game and grab a hot dog and your favorite drink on a summer evening and just watch great play. And I absolutely love it. That we're here, right? We'll launch this summer, and sometimes you lose the words for the gratitude for the moment, and it's just going to be really fantastic, and it's gonna, um, America's pastime is going to come to everyone, and now girls know it's not just that they get to know that they choose baseball or softball or they're not choosing baseball or softball. It's that they know that they can do what their brothers do, that they have the opportunity to pursue what they love. And I truly believe that when you pursue what your dreams, good things happen. And so now that pathway is there for them.
Pursue your dreams, good things happen, leagues can be started. I mean, we talked about women and the new leagues that are gonna be starting or expanding in 2026, and that's unrivaled. AUSL, the new volleyball league that's gonna be coming out, there's in 2026. There's so many women's sports is just continuing to grow. I always say it's not a trend, it's a movement. And now adding women's baseball. Launching in 2026, you're gonna have 4 teams: Boston, New York, LA, and San Francisco. Why? Why did you choose those cities?
Oh, because they're great cities, right? They've got great sports history and a ton of fans and also a history of supporting women's sports. So we will be at a neutral site this year, which we'll be announcing in a couple weeks, and then in 27 looking to be in those spots.
Oh, that's gonna be so exciting. And I imagine that, I mean, is it gonna be is it gonna be completely independent of MLB, or is it gonna be some type of partnership, do you think?
We're open to working with Major League Baseball, but we're not waiting for them. And we appreciate the support we got from the Washington Nationals, where we had our tryouts. MLB.com has been covering us, so we're very grateful and just moving forward, building the platform for where we're going.
How do you operate? You said there's 600 women that came out to the tryout, and when you go into, like, the next couple of years, as far as the draft goes, how is the draft set up?
Yeah, our draft is November 20th. It's gonna be online with some special surprises, so follow our socials, uh, to get all the information. And so we have 100. We have, like, a top 100 list. We're 4 teams, but certainly we're going to expand, right? So that's even more exciting. There's gonna be more spots, more jobs, and not just on the field, but also off the field, coaches, GMs, announcers. So we're building an ecosystem of jobs for women in baseball. So we'll have our draft, and we already big names: Monet Davis, Kelsey Whitmore, are just 2 big names. So we have players from all around the world. We had 10 countries represented at tryouts.
Oh, wow.
So it's very exciting. I love it. Baseball's always been a global game, and our league's gonna reflect that.
How are you getting the data to know who it is you want to draft? Is it coming from Baseball for All tournaments? Is it coming from, like, MLB Trailblazers? How are you notified and knowing that this is a talent we want to have on our team?
It helps to have national teams, right? We have Team USA, so in theory, we've already identified the top 20 players or the top 40 players, right? Because sometimes you don't make a national team for, some various reasons. There's 3 lefties that year. It could be any kind of thing. So, you know who the top 40 players are, and we know there's 25 countries with national teams. So we know who are generally top Canadian teams. But we did scouting. We held our tryouts. We allowed people to send us videos, and we attended the national championships in Canada as well as an event here in the US with some of the best national players. So we feel we really got to see many of the best players and identified them. And I think the best part is going in the future is going to be what countries is next, right? Where are we
Yeah.
going to find the next phenom? Is it going to be in Uganda? It could very well be, right? They're growing baseball opportunities there. So always what's next is always a fun idea.
So are we gonna like expand, have a team, like Toronto will have a team maybe in, I don't know, Uganda, Dubai. We'll just take three travel days instead of one. Go over there.
AJ, we're just gonna team up and we're just gonna do baseball, softball all around the world
Oh
and
my God, how
travel.
fun.
Well, but only in business class.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could do Dubai again back in economy,
Yeah.
but it's just it's a real privilege to be in the game right now. This is a big moment and a big pivoting point, and just grateful to be have a hand in it.
You talked about, of course, the girls and women being able to play with men, continuing to play the sport that they love is amazing. But your quote is saying there's just something special about girls playing with other girls. And you said how women's baseball, one, they're no longer the girl on the team, they're just ball players. And two, there's a lot of camaraderie. And three, there's a pipeline that can be created. And that's one thing that the WPBL provides, an end to that pipeline. When you think about what the pipeline looks like, what how would you describe?
Well, the pipeline currently beyond the international movement is in the U.S. Is the girls playing with the boys, or Olivia Pachario playing D1 baseball with the men. Um, but like softball, where you get to play with other girls, like soccer, where you get to play with other girls, that would be my goal: is to see girls baseball as a regular opportunity to play in. So I'm very supportive of co-ed baseball, but I know more opportunities will come if we create girls leagues around the country.
Creating girls' leagues around the country and the Women's Pro Baseball League. You're building it from scratch. You are building it from scratch. You are creating something that's never been created. And there's really no handbook. There's guidelines because there are many leagues that have been built from scratch, but there's no handbook to doing something for the very first time. Is there a model or league that you're following? What's really been a big help in growing and expanding this league?
I think all of it. It's not one. It's all of it. How do we learn from others? How do we see what went well or what could have gone better? Um, if we're not studying all of it, then we're missing. We're missing a part. Um, and just a lot of gratitude towards those who have been willing to share.
That's gonna
Um,
be my next
you know,
question. Who's like really been able to help you out with it?
just getting tidbits of information from women and men from leagues all around the country, whether it's I mean, all of the major leagues, I've talked to someone from there who have just given bits of information like this really worked for us, or something I wouldn't have thought about, like get your data set on the first day, right? Know what data you're collecting because it's historical and you're
Mm.
starting it and you want it to be right from the beginning. Like, yeah, yeah, of course we do. But there's 100 things to think about. But this is a really great point. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
telling me and reminding me that we have to we're setting the foundation of data, you know, for what, 100 years? So just things like that. The amount of people that have come, fans, just saying, I can't wait. And that's not just women, that's men too. And that's girls. And that's my nephew wearing our hat, right? It's it's just I can't wait for the league to jump, and neither can I.
You know what I'm thinking about too is in 2027 when MLB has the inevitable lockout, depending on how long that goes and what that looks like, this may be a real deal league of their own where we are watching women's baseball only when it comes to baseball. When you think about the impact worldwide that this league is, I believe, going to have from the beginning.
Mhm.
Well, how do you feel? What's like the first feeling that sparks in you?
Well, now we'll have the real players play, right?
Yeah.
Now you'll get 30 million for being the best outfielder in the
Right.
league. Um,
One can dream.
I love Major League Baseball. Um, but there's enough room for all of us.
Mm, I love that. There is enough room for all of us. And from when we talk about the inception of the league, you also have advisors that have been a part of creating something from scratch as well. Maybelle Blair is an advisor to your league, who is someone who has played in the 1948 for the All American Girls Professional Baseball League. And for those that don't know, that was made famous for being the inspiration for the movie that we all love to know, A League of Their Own. What have conversations with Maybelle been like, and what has she been advising?
Oh, Maybelle, she's wonderful. All of the All Americans are so supportive. Um, you can join the association, go to their website, support the All Americans. They're still coming out signing autographs. Those who are left, they're all in their 90s. But Maybelle called me the other day just to say, "Hey, you taking care of yourself? Don't get burned out. Make sure you eat well and get some sleep." She's 97 calling to check in on me. I mean, I'm gonna save that voicemail. First she voicemailed, then I called her. So I have one voicemail I'll save forever. And then of course my heart's full just talking with her. So it's really beautiful. And actually this year in Rockford, Illinois, we have the World Cup qualifier happening, which will include Team USA, Team Canada, and then we have Baseball for All's national tournament happening at the same time, and the All American Girls Professional Baseball League reunion. So in this one city in this one week, we're gonna have 3 to 4 generations playing baseball, and eh, that it's like just wow. What am I supposed to say? Just wow, wow. We're gonna go to 97 to age 6. Like I love it. How does it? How does it get better? Tell me.
You literally
What a
have
magical moment.
people are like, I see my future. No, literally, it's right here, right in front of you.
And you're 97 and they get to see the future. So the girls get to look up and the older ones get to see that they're going to be moving on, knowing that things are in good hands, that the sport they loved is now available to everyone.
I think it's a cool way to look at it. It's like the younger ones get to they look up or they look forward and they see such a beautifully paved road. And the All Americans can look back and see how that road being paved, right? Like you look back, you see how much better gotten because of the dirt that they had to trek from the beginning, and then the young kids get to look forward and see nothing but a pretty paved road. Maybe it's gonna have maybe a couple dips in it every now and then that we still got to work through, but still no longer a dirt road, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Super. It's beautiful.
You have won or received numerous honors from Baseball Hall of Fame to IOC nomination from your journey and the road that you've paved in the game of baseball. What recognition, honor, or maybe even just compliment has really meant the most to you and why?
Well, when I saw my jersey in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, I mean, my stomach literally jumped.
Yeah.
You know, to be just a shy girl from Cleveland who never gave up is it's something. But every award I'd have is just in a closet. I don't have them on display or anything like that. It's it's a movement, as you're saying. It's a movement. We're not there. We're not at the destination. We're still moving, and um, we can only build together. It's not one person. We can only build together. And so I'm just very grateful to the community who's really, even I understand that, my work has sparked the movement, but it couldn't be done without everybody. It would just be an idea lost in a room without the passion and drive of everyone else who made it happen.
What do you hope that the young girls, when you go and you get to see from 97 to 6, so the young girls to the young women to our more mature women, get to, what do you feel or what do you hope they will take away from your story in the full circle moment of WPBL? Because while you didn't become a Cleveland Guardian, you're still have such a hand in young women that play baseball having the dream to say they can go and play pro.
It's like it's multifaceted, right? I want them to know that they're perfect as they are. That for everyone who's told them that they're not supposed to go play baseball, right? Which is just a symbol. It's the same thing as say women shouldn't be scientists, women shouldn't, have mortgages, they women shouldn't ride bikes. I mean, it just goes back far and far of all the historical things that they've said girls and women shouldn't do. And I think that that perspective is important, but one day I just want them to not know it wasn't an option, that they just kind of get spoiled a little bit like their brothers and they just play. That's it. No more fighting, just playing. I'd love to see that.
Just play. I love that. Just go play. Just go. From the very first thing you said when we were talking about the quotes, you said, if it's something that you are passionate about or something that you love, just go. I think those were your words. And so being able to now be able to just go. Love. Well, now we're going to go into my favorite segment, which is the no fly zone segment. And I want to know your days on the mound, blowing pitches by men and women alike on a baseball field. What's your favorite play that you've made in your career?
Oh, I gotta say, my favorite play was the whole game when I pitched against my old high school who wouldn't let me
Yeah.
play. I mean, like, what a moment. What a moment to pitch successfully against them. I think I'm gonna take the whole inning if that's okay with you.
Heck yeah. Any strikeouts?
I think no one got the ball out of the infield. So,
Period. I wish you would have did you like a little celebration in their face or anything? Should have started a brawl.
oh, I should have shot him, bro. Why did I think of that? No, I was just happy. It's just a moment where I was, you know, you're just content. You're happy you did it. You did what you loved and you got to prove them wrong all in the same moment.
Not only did you prove them wrong, but you had to prove yourself right of the things that you're capable of doing. And for all other baseball players wanting to go out and prove themselves right, do you think is the key to being an elite baseball player?
I mean, everyone's going to tell you practice and learning and everything, but I would say be kind to yourself through the process. Speak well to yourself. Um, and if you do that, then your mind and your body can open up to its full potential.
Mm. What do you think is the key to being an elite baseball player as a woman that's on a team with individuals that don't believe she should be on that team?
Determination. Just, I think determination and an inner belief, not just in themselves, but that what they're doing is right. You know, um, Knowing that standing there, there's there's someone watching and you're changing their mind.
Mm.
You're creating the light bulb, and know that you're not alone.
What would you say in all of being able to realize that you're creating your own light bulb or creating a light bulb in someone else's mind? We've had to go through as baseball players, softball players, athletes, experience failure before we experience success. What would you say is your favorite failure that you've had that has ultimately led you to some of your biggest or best successes?
That's a really great question. I will say that I was a hothead, had a really hard time failing. Thinking, wearing that oh, I got to show them that girls can do it. Um, and I think that passion channels correctly has helped me become the person I am. Right. So there's a choice. We can let that kind of burn us, that pressure, or we can take that pressure and let it expand us and see what we're capable of.
Channel that passion into fuel. It'll propel you forward in the best ways.
Propel you further, expand you in ways you didn't know you could go.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about expanding in ways that no one knows you could go or beyond what expectations are, what are your hopes for for the Women's Baseball League that's coming?
My hope is obviously filled seats, filled stadium. Come out, have a great time. I'm so confident that if you come to a game, you watch on broadcasting, follow us on social media, that you're going to fall in love with these women and their stories and the passion and ability to play this great game.
Well, I am excited because back from our affirmation, well-behaved women rarely make history. Someone has to be the first. Why not me? These women out there will not bend. They will not break. They will not conform because that's the only way history is made. Justine, thank you for striking the match, for leading the way. And I am so excited to be at the first game of the WPBL and to see history be made and to be able to witness all the amazing women that I had a hand in it.
I love it. We'll see you there.
Yay! Well, thank you guys all for listening. Justine, thank you again for coming on and dropping your diamonds. Please remember, if you have a passion for it, like Justine says, if a passion for it is something you want to do, just go. Remember, you can't make history if you conform. That's just not how history is made. Don't conform. Go after what you want and stay steadfast towards your goals. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Let's continue this conversation on Instagram at Dropping Diamonds Pod. And remember, well-behaved women rarely make history. Just go. See you guys next week back at the Diamond. Bye for now.